Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled I Do Work Here. I run a gardening business. An old client from 10 years ago rang me to mow her lawns today. I remember her being a little strange from before, but never mind. She told me her previous gardener had pushed her around and poked her. At this point alarm bells are ringing because I know most of the guys in my franchise and none of them would ever touch a customer. She can't remember his name and Central only have me as her last gardener from 10 years ago, so things aren't adding up. Anyway, go to her house, have a chat, give her a quote, which she accepts, book her in for next week and leave. Everyone happy, you'd think. 3 hours later she rings me again. The conversation goes something like this. Hi, is this Baxter Hugger? Yes. Did you come to my house and give me a quote? Yes. I don't think you did. The real Baxter Hugger never came to my house. Someone came pretending to be him, an imposter. What? The real Baxter Hugger never came to my house. Someone came but it wasn't him. Okay, I'm canceling the job. You have mental health issues and need to see a doctor. No, I need to see Baxter Hugger. You need a doctor, not a gardener. Please get professional help. I demand to speak to the real Baxter Hugger. Goodbye. The lady is obviously suffering from some form of delusions, and making stuff up, very dangerous to be around. I got her banned from the agency as she'd probably report the next guy to the police for something. Anyone like to take a goose at what she's suffering from? Paranoia? Schizophrenia? The next story is titled At Rescue Volunteer, Does Not Work at Pet Store. I am the cat coordinator for a local rescue. We partner with a large chain pet store to house adoptable cats. I go daily to clean up the condos and socialize the cats. Employees at this store wear khakis pants and a logo shirt. I usually wear either gym clothes or something appropriate for whatever I am doing that day. For this incident I had on a long sundress as I came from brunch with my sisters. A lady came up while I was elbow deep in litter pans asking where a dog item was located. I politely informed her I didn't work there. She stood there for a few minutes staring at me while I worked, then leaned in and said really low, I can go get your manager. I told her she was welcome to get the store manager to help, but I am my own manager and a volunteer, reiterating that I do not work for the store. She did come back with a manager, pointing at me, talking to the manager, who informed her that no, I don't work for them. That is not the first time someone mistook me for working at the store, but one of the funniest is she just couldn't seem to let it go. The next story is titled Tired Dude Who Looks Like a Bum Works at the Grocery Store. Okay then. Didn't think I'd have a story for here again considering I rarely leave the house, but here I am. I needed to make an excursion outside to feed the kitty her treats of choice as I had run out from spoiling her rotten like she demands. All bow before the cat queen in my home law. So I get my stuff on and get ready to leave and walk to the grocery store to pick up her tastas and some more cat food. Cast. Moi. The meat popsicle. Karen, the clueless idiot. SM, the store manager. He, helpful employee just doing her best. To paint a picture of what I looked like today. I am in a gray hoodie and a toque, beanie to you Americans, a gray Guinness tank top and navy blue pajama pants, black DC shoes and an Attack on Titan man purse. I in no way look like an employee of anywhere. I am in what I like to call bum couture. I also have headphones in listening to some music. I get to the store jamming out to some Slipknot and proceed to go about my business. Grab a basket and beeline to the pet aisle. I pass the registers and am instantly accosted by this neon green-haired woman in her late 40s wearing a shawl and looking like she belongs in a craft show. She instantly starts in on me, looking everywhere else but at me. Karen. Listen here little man, I am looking for dish soap and I have no ducking clue where you people hide that crap. Show me where it is now. Moi pulling out one headphone, pardon? Karen groaning angrily. Do you morons even listen? Where is the dish soap? Note she's snapping her fingers in my face at every word. Moi instantly pissed off at the snapping. I know where it is, but with your attitude I am not exactly inclined to help you. Karen puffing up in indignation. Listen here. Moi cutting her off and yelling right back in her face. No, you listen here, these people don't get paid enough to deal with your crap and I don't work here, so I am DEFFINATLY not getting paid enough to take your nasty crap. How about you open your damn eyes and look at me? What about my appearance says I work here? What about my clothing could possibly indicate that I am employed here? Karen, taken aback that someone dared to talk back. Well, I never. He moving over from customer service. What's going on here? Karen, before anyone can get a word in. This a-hole has been rude to me and dared to talk back to me. I demand he be written up and fired this instant. Moi. Page a manager please. Clueless here thinks I work here and also requires glasses. He bolts to go grab the manager and we stand there. I just fold my arms and wait while Karen hisses vitriol at me about how I am going to be mega fired or whatever. I stopped paying attention and went back to listening to bleed it out. SM and he appear minutes later just as trivium sin and the sentence starts. SM. What's going on here? He sort of filled me. Karen before SM can finish his sentence and right back to screaming. This little crap refused to show me where the dish soap was and was rude and insulting to me. I demand you fire him and COMPINSATE me for my trouble. Moi. She's clueless. And thinks I work here somehow. I just want cat food and treats. SM. Ma'am, he is plainly a customer, look at him. PJs aren't part of the uniform here. Karen actually looks at me and really takes in my appearance for the first time. Seeing that I am literally here dressed like a lazy couch potato. And lets out a weak, oh. Evidently she's a common problem at this store because the SM surprises me with his next remark. SM coldly and obviously very annoyed. Ma'am, this is the third time this week you have abused staff and customers. Leave now, and if we see you here again you will be trespassed. You are banned from this location indefinitely. Now please leave. Karen enraged throws her basket to the floor and rages out screaming about lawyers. SM apologizes to me for what happened and I just brush it off. Not too worried about it as it's dealt with. He goes back to customer service and tells me to check out with her when I get what I need. Gave me a 25% discount on my kitty tasties and kitty food. So all in all, not bad. All it took was dealing with an idiot for 7 minutes. Paid, dipped and went home. Now I am sitting here with my cat happily snoozing in my lap like the glorious queen she is. The next story is entitled Neighbor Thinks Street Parking is Only His, Karma Responds. This happened last night, this morning, and I really love it when karma steps in. Also, I'm pregnant and easily irritated, so I will fully acknowledge this as a small case of entitled behavior that doesn't have a huge impact on daily life. We live in a residential neighborhood with single-family homes without driveways and street parking. For the most part, people tend to park in front of their own house, but it's street parking so no one has any right to any spot, and sometimes you just have to park wherever you can. It's not usually a problem. 99% of the time we can find a spot on our block, and usually it's right in front of our house. It's one of those courtesy things in the neighborhood. Our next-door neighbors to the left have been a bit annoying with their parking habits. Apparently there are birds in the tree in front of their house that poop on their vehicles. They have a pickup truck and an SUV. So when they park, they tend to pull up the front car farther and basically sit almost right on our bumper to get more of that vehicle out from under their tree. So far we've been able to get out as our neighbor to the right usually leaves for work before us, so there's lots of room in front of our car. But it's still annoying as sometimes we have had to do like a 50-point turn to get out. Think Austin Powers in that shuttle thing, back and forth, inching out. Yesterday they went farther though. The husband got home around 2 p.m., and there were 2 spots open in front of our houses. His wife's vehicle wasn't home yet, and neither was my husband's. He parked in the middle of the 2 spots, effectively taking both of them. My husband got home at 5 p.m., and parked a block away, came in and remarked, "Wow, what a crap parking job neighbor did." About half an hour later, we see his wife pull up. He goes out and moved his truck up so it's in front of our house, and she parks behind him. He saved the spot for her, and both were now parked away from the bird poop tree. Now, again, it's street parking so we do not own the spot in front of our house. But that does not mean it's okay to park like an a-hole to save your wife a spot. It's first come first served. Also, my husband has a ton of heavy tools and equipment he has to unload after work, and I am pregnant with a toddler and sometimes groceries, diaper bag to carry, so while it's not really a big deal to have to park a block or 2 away just by luck, it's definitely an inconvenience that makes me a little mad when they purposely block the spot in front of our house. This morning, parking karma stepped in. My husband was on the front porch having his morning coffee when the husband comes out and gets in his truck to leave for work. Bam! Apparently he hit the gas a little hard while in reverse and he smashed into his wife's SUV. I guess it would have been better if her vehicle was parked elsewhere. Side note. My husband noticed yesterday as well that the neighbor's truck has, duck you, keyed into the driver's side door. Not sure the story behind it, but I'm gonna guess some type of road or parking rage incident. The next story is titled Asian People Shop Too. Chinese, went into a small Korean store. Edit. The store was in an area with a low Asian population, and was looking around. It wasn't busy and I had asked the owner if I could use the restroom. I go and when I come out this white couple comes in. The man looks at me and asks me where something was. He didn't stop to ask if I was an employee, just straight up asked, "Where's the food item?" I look at him and said, "I don't work here," then left the store. What are the odds an Asian person would want to shop or go to an Asian store? Clarifying edit. I'm not sure if they saw me come out of the restroom. I came out right before they walked in and was about to leave, like halfway to the door. Even if they did see me coming out, I'm not sure how many small, usually immigrant family-owned, ethnic stores have people working for them that are different backgrounds, not saying that there aren't, but I haven't seen a lot of them. The next story is titled I do work here but sometimes I deny it. I work in retail. I've started denying I work there. I find it funny to embrace the awkward. Maybe you will too. I'm not a very social person, and I can come across as strange and aloof. I've been told by my wife that I have resting Rasputin face. I'm friendly and happy, but the vibe I give off on a first impression, for better or worse, definitely worse, is, this dude is probably into taxidermy. We all have to play the hand we're dealt. Our store is very laid back. We're in a tiny little town where everyone knows everyone. Customers are greeted by name and asked if their dog's feeling better today, you get the idea. But we're also a lonely, remote exit on a long stretch of highway, so we sometimes get out-of-towners who stop by to gas up, pee, and restock on sugary human fuel. Often, they're miserable from the road trip. The kids are rampaging hurricanes now that they're free from the backseat. These customers know they'll never be back, and sometimes they act like it. They're disrespectful and trash our store. To them, we are nobodies from nowhere. To be fair, they're probably right. These folks also don't know where anything is. So they spot me, decidedly not looking like a model employee. T-shirt, jeans, no name tag, one headphone in. Still, I obviously work here, since I'm doing planograms, price tags, cutting open boxes to stock shelves, etc. Here, we reach a fork in the road. They can ask politely, "Hey, do you work here?" and they'll be helped to the best of my abilities. Or, their tone of voice can send them down the other path. The fact that I don't match their preconception of what a worker drone at some suburban outlet store should look like will add a hint of disdain to their voice when they almost sarcastically sneer. "Excuse me, do you work here?" Eye contact. Try a smile on. The trick, I read, is to smile with your eyes and not show teeth. I think I've mastered it. Deadpan. Very convincing. Play my hand as dealt. "No ma'am, this is just a hobby." And back to work, ignoring them. If they get too upset, I'll give in a little and offer to help them on the condition that they don't tell anyone I was in here, volunteering, again. But usually it's just a blank stare and a really awkward silence until they shuffle off and I keep doing what I'm doing. It's not much, but I get a kick out of it. The next story is titled Are You in line? Why would I be standing here, lady? I had a wisdom tooth extraction and went into a pharmacy near my workplace to get some painkillers. I was standing in line, waiting to be called by one of the cashiers as they had just opened and were probably busy logging in on their computers. Since they had just opened, I was the only one in the store when Karen enters and walks up behind me and asks if I'm in line. I turn around, slightly annoyed at her question and grumpy about the pain I am in, and tell her that I wouldn't be standing there unless I was in line. She then says that she didn't know if I worked there or not. I then mentioned to her that I was not wearing the uniform. The uniform is a dusty pink color and kind of looked like nurse's scrubs, and I was wearing a black dress shirt and a red tie. She then mentions that she did not pay attention to the uniform and that they had just opened. I turned back around and ignored her when one of the cashiers called me to help me get my meds. Now I understand that I was firm to her. But many people think that I am a child, because of my height and the fact that I look younger than I am, and they tend to take advantage of that and try to cut in lines. Plus I was not in the mood for chit-chat with Karen. I just wanted to my painkillers and GETV back to the office. The next story is titled I Don't Work Here, I Work With You. This was 10 or so years ago, when I used to work for a trucking company, unloading trucks. I worked the early shift, finishing at 11 a.m., and there was also an afternoon shift which started at noon, so there was usually no overlap. I'd met the head of the afternoon team once or twice when I worked late. We wore a work uniform, work pants with a t-shirt in a pretty distinctive blue. It wasn't uncommon for people to think I worked somewhere, despite the unusual color. Got off work one day and stopped off at a big renovation store to pick up some stuff. I was looking at some drill bits when someone tapped me on the shoulder asking me where to find something, obviously thinking I worked there. I turn around to say that I don't work here, and it's the head of the afternoon shift from my work, in the same uniform as me. The next story is titled I Can't Do Anything BC I Don't Work Here. I got my first Karen experience since leaving my Starbucks job in April and I'm very amused. So, I used to work in a Starbucks kiosk before moving to a better coffee shop with tips, privileges and benefits. I haven't had one difficult customer since starting there, but today I went to Starbucks to get my mom and my sister their daily fix, and the line was massive. When I quit, I caused a mass quitting and now there are only 3 fully trained baristas there and everyone else is in training, and 2 trainees were in the kiosk. Now, I can judge how they're performing silently all I want, but they're new and of course it's going to take them more time to get through customers and drink orders, so people should be prepared for a wait when getting in an already massive line. An older lady gets in line a few people behind me, and I immediately feel bad for the 2 East Indian baristas in the kiosk, since this lovely Karen was very volatile with POC. It was always my job to handle every part of her order. When she came in BC I was the only one she wouldn't yell slurs at. The store managers wouldn't allow us to refuse service to her despite how hard I fought for it. So I continue to wait in line when I hear her witch-like raspy squeal. Why don't you get in there and help them? Now, she wasn't a daily customer, but at least 1 or twice a week she'd come in and I hadn't worked in the kiosk for 6 months at this point, so I'm looking around trying to figure out who she's talking to when I see her point her cane at me as she speaks again. Get in there and help them, at least you can understand the customers. I groan and decide to interact. I explain to her that they're doing just fine and that they're new so we all have to be patient, and that I don't work in the kiosk anymore. This does not satisfy her. She insists that I work there and that even if I didn't, I used to so I could go fix their mistakes. Constantly fixing the kiosk's problems is why I left in the first place. I tell her off. Explain that even employees can't go in to help without clocking in or writing it down due to the union and work-safe laws. I go on to repeat that this is especially true for me because I'm a customer just like she is and again, I don't work in this establishment anymore. She goes on to ask me to call back up for them. I used to use the store PA a lot, so I repeat again that I can't use the phones BC I'm not a store employee. She says I should at least try, or tell the baristas to work faster or do something different. I less than kindly I tell her that if she doesn't want to wait she doesn't have to, and not serving someone as ungrateful as her wouldn't be heartbreaking for the baristas in the kiosk. Thankfully she shut up after that, instead of her usual tirades, although after she gave up in the line I saw her talking to one of the supervisors at the customer service desk while I was heading to my car. I didn't handle it the best, but years of her being a monster to my coworkers and me having to pretend to be nice to her really ate away at me, so I definitely needed the release. Hopefully our little conflict stops her from going in for quite some time. My apologies for the longer post, but I was quite amused that this happened considering this was my first experience that went beyond the "I wish you still worked at Starbucks" comments form regulars I still see often. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.